Hi, this is the Bible Forum. We're glad you're here. We're looking this night, Sunday, February 11, 2018, at social issues that made a splash, got our attention this week that might be applicable to our life's flow. One thing is the flu. Do you have the flu? Do you know anybody that has the flu? I am in South Carolina, Charleston, South Carolina. South Carolina is now ranked number 1 in the nation in flu-related deaths. It's not a good record. Spectrum News from Charlotte, North Carolina, where this fellow works, reported the autopsy showed the cause of death was almost likely the flu, leading to pneumonia and sepsis. The report said the woman died just 36 hours after she first showed signs of being sick. According to her obituary, this woman passed away December 30th. She worked as a television news reporter in West Virginia, North Carolina, and Ohio. She left the industry to stay home full-time with her children. The flu grabbed hold of her and died. She died in 36 hours. Keep that in mind if you're one who is susceptible to these sorts of things, and they tell you to get a flu shot, or they tell you to not be around people, they tell you to wash your hands, or they tell you not to, be in places that you don't understand with people you don't know, and just being all friendly and fuzzy. Are you a man? You a woman? Well, today that depends on your political party. 80% of Republicans say gender is determined by biology. At the same time, only 64% of Democrats can agree with that statement. The Democrats who have more education, who have a bachelor's degree or higher, were more likely to believe gender could be fluid, while no educational divide existed among Republicans polled. Even age didn't influence views on this topic as much as political ideology. Almost all Democrats, regardless of age, clung to this belief. And while Republicans thought society had gone too far in creating special preferences for transgender people, Democrats didn't think society had gone far enough. All this points to just how different the average Republican is from the average Democrat. And it's not just politics. Of course, the theoretical 36% of Democrats don't go along with this statement. It may be that's how many senior citizens there are in the Democrat Party. Imagine looking at a dog and calling it a cat. No matter how times you do it, or how you treat that animal, it's probably still going to be a dog. We've heard a lot over the years about the inequity between male and female salaries, men and women doing the same jobs. That's the feminist argument. Men are being paid more to do the same. But more and more statistics are showing that's not the case. However, as in all politics and all emotional ploys, facts don't stop people from thinking and complaining in this way. Apparently, in other parts of the world, women represent a high rate of workforce participation, in large part due to mass slaughtering of the male population. Rwanda was mentioned in the article as being praiseworthy and ahead of the United States in this regard. Rwanda is suffering through a genocide that disproportionately slaughters men. One reason men seem to be paid more than women, however, is that when men work more hours. Uber pays its drivers not on an inherently subjective individual basis, but simply according to a formula that takes into account time and mileage driven. Uber still has a 7% pay gap between male and female drivers. A company that allocates salary in a way that is necessarily blind to an employee's genders has still generated a pay gap because men and women make different choices. Because the compensation structure is automatic, Stanford researchers were able to pin down the 3 factors that caused this gap. One was experience on the platform. Platform being the job, how it works, and all that. The second was willingness to work at peak times and in busy areas. Safety becomes an issue, doesn't it? And then there were driving speed preferences. Everybody knows men drive faster than women. Men take more chances than women. Another reality is that women can't do every job. In the array of jobs being done, physical constraints are still a very real issue. And men don't get pregnant. The pagan world system wants us to believe that biology is not a factor in socioeconomic endeavors, but just ask a new mother where she would rather be. And if she wants to be at work, it's usually because of the money and or the drive to earn a better job. But ask her where her mind is, where her heart is. You do know that men generally don't think about their babies when they're out there welding the beam. At a court sentencing where disgraced USA gymnast Dr. Larry Nassar was hearing his penalty for the round of indecent liberties with a minor, one of the girl's fathers, a man by the name of Randall Margraves, leaped at the doctor after listening to 2 of his daughters deliver victim impact statements. You might have seen it online. There's a video of it. You may have read about it. He requested 5 minutes alone with that demon, and he used expletives to describe Nassar. When the judge said no, he asked for a minute. When she declined again, the father ran at the doctor. Court officers tackled him almost immediately and arrested him and marched him out of the room. Watching that scene develop, talking about it now and seeing those scenes is heart-wrenching. Well, now, a co-worker of Mr. Margraves has set up a GoFundMe page to help with any potential legal fees resulting from this outburst. As of last Saturday, that's a week ago, and just a few days after the event, more than 700 donors had pledged more than $23,000. The goal is listed as to help a brother and friend in need. Now, the truth is, he's probably not going to face any charges. The judge was completely sympathetic in her comments later on to him. But the point here is not to minimize this man's angst or the people who care. But this is what's happening today when people are able to relate or people are able to see something overtly emotional. If they had not seen the video, would it have come across the same way? How many ordinary Americans struggle every day in need of financial help and can't or don't get it? But be on TV and express a visceral emotion or portray some emotional need, and surely the money will flow in. Those who donate to GoFundMe funds, and there's 4 or 5 of them out there, are to be applauded. Yet how many would contribute to a church benevolent fund, or what we used to call the community chest? A person who goes by the name of James J.O. Older posted a video online to a Facebook group called 1% FPV. In the post, the video shows a racing drone. You don't ever see the drone. You're looking from the camera on the drone. It's a racing drone. Faster, bigger. It is hovering in the flight path of an airliner off in the distance. And as the aircraft gets closer, the drone is apparently over top of it, dive bombing the jetliner in a swoop maneuver. This as the jetliner was making its approach to an airfield in Las Vegas. Drone racers are drones controlled through FPV, first-person view systems. You don't see the drone, but you see what the drone sees. FPV is a type of flying system that pilots use cameras to fly drones as if they were sitting in that cockpit. Some pilots fly using FPV monitors, whereas others use specialized goggles to give them a more immersive experience. According to the Federal Aviation Administration, more than 777,000 drone registrations have been filed with that agency since 2017, or by 2017. With that being said, the Federal Aviation Administration has created a list of rules called the Small Unmanned Aircraft Regulations, Part 107. Needless to say, flying a drone this close to an airliner in flight is not permitted. Mr. 1% FPV should be very concerned. Federal agencies are looking for him. And so should we all, especially if we're flying or we live in a flight path. It's becoming a very, very different and dangerous world. And most of the people out there, the vast majority of people in the world, have an IQ that's less than 98. And even if they have a great intelligence, many of them are young, and young people aren't too smart. And many of them are on drugs or on alcohol or just want to be liked or want the thrill. We used to have controls for that in the home and in society, and those controls are gone. So we need to be afraid, very afraid. And we need to be very careful. And we need to think twice about saying to people that our little 4-year-old is mature for his age and I know I can trust him. I give you a hint. Ain't nobody ever been able to trust a 4-year-old. Period. Now you can't trust 14-year-olds.